Yesterday, you heard from President Biden, Prime Minister Albanese, and Prime Minister Sunak on the agreement for Australia to acquire a conventionally armed nuclear-powered submarine capability through the Australia, United Kingdom, United States Enhanced Security Partnership, or AUKUS. Yesterday concluded our 18-month thorough and expert-led consultation period to identify the optimal pathway for Australia to acquire this capability while setting the highest nuclear non-proliferation standard. This plan will deliver on that commitment and lift all three nations' submarine industrial bases and undersea capabilities, enhancing deterrence and promoting stability in the Indo-Pacific. For the last 7 decades, our three countries have stood shoulder to shoulder, along with our allies and partners, to help sustain peace and stability in the Indo-Pacific. The optimal pathway will sustain that in the decisive decades ahead. As the National Security Strategy and National Defense Strategy describe, the United States must pursue a free, open, and secure world to protect our national interests and those of our allies and our partners. AUKUS advances this goal by building our military capabilities and those of 2 of our very closest allies, enabling closer military planning and cooperation. It is a generational opportunity to enhance the national security of all 3 nations. As the President shared in his remarks yesterday, the optimal pathway will deliver deterrence across several phases. Under the first phase of the optimal pathway, the United States and the United Kingdom will immediately increase port visits of conventionally armed nuclear-powered submarines in Australia. And then, as early as 2027, will begin rotating through Australia under Submarine Rotational Force West. This deployment will ensure Australian personnel can continue familiarizing themselves with how these vessels operate, how they are properly maintained, and how we can continue safely operating together. The increased presence of U.S. submarines will buttress regional stability and support the safe development of Australian stewardship of its own sovereign, conventionally armed, nuclear-powered submarine enterprise. In the next phase, the United States intends to sell 3 Virginia-class submarines to Australia in the 2030s, with the potential to sell up to 2 more if needed. This will provide Australia with a conventionally armed, nuclear-powered submarine capability prior to their enduring sovereign capability coming online. You will see 3 allied and highly interoperable SSN fleets operating in the Indo-Pacific. The final phase will be our support for what we call SSN AUKUS, a next-generation conventionally armed nuclear-powered submarine designed and constructed by Australia and the UK and incorporating cutting-edge U.S. technologies in the propulsion plant, combat control, and weapons systems. Australia's acquisition of SSNs will bolster the capabilities of one of our strongest allies by increasing the Royal Australian Navy's range, survivability, and striking power, thus strengthening deterrence in the Indo-Pacific. Every phase of the optimal pathway will set the highest nuclear non-proliferation standards. Moreover, AUKUS will diversify U.S. posture in the Indo-Pacific, offering new locations from which U.S. forces can operate. And AUKUS will strengthen U.S. and allied submarine industrial capacity, which is key to modernizing, innovating, and maintaining our military and economic competitive edge today and in the future. 3 highly capable, allied, and interoperable submarine forces will strengthen U.S. national security and buttress stability in the Indo-Pacific for decades to come. We are also working to modernize our information sharing and export control systems, which is necessary for the effective implementation of AUKUS. As the National Defense Strategy outlines, the capacity to share information with key allies and partners is of critical importance to how the United States deters aggression and succeeds in contingencies. We will work closely with the U.S. government, including the Congress, of course, and the United Kingdom and Australia, to identify obstacles to information sharing and to develop innovative, rapid, and scalable solutions to deliver on the President's vision for this historic partnership.